This is the Pop Tournaments podcast. In Pop Tournaments, we take a category of pop culture and let you, the fans, vote on matchups in a single elimination tournament format to determine an ultimate champion. We are here to discuss those results and the upcoming matchups. Thanks to our great community and everybody who votes, let's start the show. Hello, hello, hello. This is the Pop Tournaments podcast. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. It is January 7th, 2021. I am Jake Wicker, and with us is Ryan Barrett.
What's happening, everybody?
Jennifer Schmidt.
Hi, friends.
Perfect. That's actually a perfect segue. We've got just a slew of content and guests to get to today. Jen, why don't you tell us who you got next to you there?
Well, this guy who's saying my lines is my dear husband, Steve.
I got a ding on that.
Yeah.
Steve, welcome to Pop Tournaments. We appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you here. And then next to me here, I have my beautiful, amazing, wonderful girlfriend, Kaylee, who is being an awesome sport and putting up with not only listening to me talk about this podcast, but also coming on. Want to say hello?
Hi.
And Ryan will have a little surprise for us later. We might hear the cowbell again, but we're back once again recording on a Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Do you guys, anybody pulling? Steve, who do you think is going to win today?
I'm just rooting against Tom Brady.
So if he gets hurt, you're rooting for the Buccaneers, but otherwise,
That'd be fine. That'd be fine.
Ryan, you got a favorite here?
I'm kind of rooting for the Bucks, not because of Tom Brady, but just because generally I like those kind of smaller market teams, and I know Kansas City is too. But them being the defending champions, and them just being one of the major old school teams, I am kind of pulling for the Bucks as like a weird champion. But yeah, I don't like Tom Brady. I like their wide receivers. I like that there's 2 U of M grads on the team. Yeah. So we have that Minnesota connection. I guess I don't know if grads alum.
We love the Minnesota connection, however tenuous it may be.
Exactly. Definitely.
Jen, you got anybody you're pulling for?
Oh, I don't think I'm even watching. I don't really care.
Kaylee?
I'm gonna eat some food.
I'm pulling for the Budweiser horse commercial.
Yes.
I'm here for the halftime show. It's about it.
There we go. Yeah. The weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That should be fun. That should be good.
It is the weekend.
Oh, that's
Weekend
right. That's what it is.
All his Grammy controversy. But speaking of weekends, I hope everybody out there had a fantastic weekend. Us over here, we had a really, really cool weekend because we unfortunately recently lost our rabbit Ingrid suddenly, and very sad. And we weren't planning on rushing into anything, but we have a big open house and big open spots in our hearts. So what did we do this weekend?
We adopted a 3-month-old baby Holland bunny.
Oh, cute.
She's adorable.
And her name is?
We named her Stevie.
Oh, great
Stevie
name.
Rutabaga.
Nice. Little bit of Stevie Nicks, a little bit of Stevie from Schitt's Creek.
Stevie Bud.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, she's super fun and super cute. Jen, what did you guys get up into this weekend?
Well, actually, this morning I went dog sledding.
Ooh.
So, yeah, one of my friends found like a thing through Community Ed, like a dog sled experience. So I went a little bit outside the cities and like actually like on the sled and like steered the dogs and got to know them and got to like get sled dog kisses. And it was very cold. It was like -12 degrees when we started, and it had warmed all the way up to -2 when we were done. But it was super
There
fun.
you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That
Steve,
is awesome.
were you steering the dogs too?
No.
I was here. I was at home.
You got to keep the homestead safe. Do they have dog sledding up in Duluth?
The Bear Grease was going on, I think, this week or weekend. So yes, it's a
Interesting.
big sled dog run from like I don't know where it starts. It's up the North Shore and it come down. It's cool.
I'll have to go watch some sled dogging sometime. Ryan, how was your weekend?
Great. So I can't remember if I've talked about this before. I know I've been saying that we've been like rewatching Marvel movies. But there's a podcast that I've kind of been like doing this whole experience along with called Binge Mode. I know at least Steve is familiar with it.
Yeah.
But it's they started off as a Game of Thrones podcast, and then they did like the entire Harry Potter universe. They did the Star Wars universe. Now they're doing all the MCU movies, and they're deep. Like each episode tackles one movie, and it's like over 2 hours. They're generally longer than the movie, and they go really, really deep dive into each one. So it's kind of fun. It's almost like having like a second screen experience, you know, like you finish a movie and then listen to the podcast afterwards. And you kind of, it gives you so much more insight into not only the plot and the lore and the comic books that inspired it, but also like the making of the film and, you know, some of the behind the scenes stuff. It's just a really cool way to do it. So yeah, I'm actually in the middle of watching Iron Man 1 right now. So that's kind of cool. And then we watched a cool movie last night. It's a new documentary from the maker of the film Room 237, the documentary about The Shining. It is called A Glitch in the Matrix, and it is basically about simulation theory, which I don't know if people are... Okay, so it's basically like about the Matrix theory, like the idea that we're all in a simulation and none of this is real. We're all just
like 40% possible.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who are like quote unquote smart who are talking about this and saying like they think it's real or, you know, could be real. And just like in Room 237, if you're familiar with that, a lot of it is kind of like, this is bullshit. These people are kind of crazy. But it's really well done. And if you like Room 237, I would highly recommend it because it's very... The filmmaker has a really distinct style and, you know, visual voice to his documentary style. So it's really cool. I would highly recommend it. It's a good movie and definitely kind of a mind bender. So yeah.
Is there a scene in this movie where there's a young Ryan Barrett working at Hollywood Video going, look at these customers, they don't even know they're living in a simulation. bunch of Varsity Blues.
Yeah. No, unfortunately not.
It would have fit right in.
Yeah,
Sounds like it.
But
I was
bunch of cake eaters.
Yeah.
Cake eaters.
Yeah, I never quite got to that level of conspiracy, but
right on. That's cool though. You know, and speaking of sports, so today our championship is happening in our Cinema Sports Jocks on Celluloid. I'm not even going to try one this time.
Oh, not one last time?
You got one?
No, I want to hear one last one from you.
Cinema Sports Jocks on celluloid.
Ooh.
I can give it a go.
Creepy. Ryan?
Cinema Sports. Jocks on celluloid.
There we go.
There we go. We should have had you been doing it the whole time. But
All it was missing was the guitar, I think.
Or a bass. Could do a bass line with that too.
Cinema Sports.
championship.
Doom, 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 doom. Jocks on
Seinfeld
celluloid.
bass. Look, it's looking like we got plenty of time left in the rest of the day, but it's looking like it's going to be League of Their Own beating Rocky. Rocky clawed its way to the championship, but congratulations, two very deserving finalists. So
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a good,
very
good
very
final two for
fun
sure.
one there. But we do have a new tournament to get to. We're calling it 21st Century Love. The last 20 years of our favorite TV couples, TV couples from the 21st century. And this was a really hard one, I think, for all of us to pin down. We've actually got a lot of entrants here.
Yeah, I think this is like a part one, and then we'll be doing another one later because there were so many great suggestions too from people on the
Right.
Facebook page, and yeah,
I think
And-
this was the most we've ever taken input from people, I think, too. Like, there were just so many good suggestions. It was easy to just kind of take those and plug them in because they were all super legitimate.
Yeah. It was so tough. Like, do we base this on which couples we think are the most in love? Do we base it on what couples are the most popular amongst their fans? Because there's definitely some toxic couples out there that, but still, you can't have the conversation without them. So, I think so. Today we've actually again, because this was so tough to get to our normal. 4 play-in matches, 8 entrants. We still had 16 that we liked, and we're trying to narrow it down from that. So we have that vote also going on today, a little bonus vote. But Kaylee, do you have any? You're welcome to stay the whole time, but I don't want to keep you if you don't want to stay. Do you have a favorite couple from our list? Are you a Jim and Pam? Are you a April and Andy?
Man, I don't know. Favorite is a very strong word.
Yeah,
It all depends on the show and the situations. So,
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
there's a lot of favorites because that's what you picked. You see?
Right. We got a deep list. I didn't want to not give you your chance to stand, as the kids say, for your favorite.
Stan. Yeah.
How about we just had Dan Levy on Saturday Night Live last night. David and Patrick, do you think they could probably go pretty far?
It depends what they go up against.
Right.
I mean, I love David and Patrick,
Very true.
but it literally. I mean,
Catherine O'Hara won our.
I think Jim and Pam would, if they were up against them, Jim and Pam would win hands down.
Probably. Probably.
The good thing is they're both on opposite sides of the bracket, so
Oh,
I think they could see each other in the finals. I mean,
okay.
that's an early, who knows, but
Yeah, because they're two of our top seeds,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
hypothetically.
So let's and then another one of our top seeds, and again, I know Ryan's got a guest to bring in. Steve, Kaylee, definitely jump in whenever you feel like. Take off whenever you feel like. Don't feel obligated to say anything. But one of our other, we didn't really seed, but one of our top matches or top couples that we got a lot of suggestions about was Coach Eric Taylor and his wife Tammy Taylor. I know this is a very popular one in your household, Jen and Steve. What do you think?
Well, I think they're kind of the model relationship. You see them, how they interact and how they, support their kids, other kids. They set the example for, Coach Taylor's the leader of men. You want to have that kind of inspiration, makes everybody want to be better, that sort of thing. And Tammy, It's still a strong female character, but it's still, supportive and,
Do you think?
pulls down her side of things.
Do you guys think Coach Taylor's favorite song is "Leader of Men" by Nickelback?
I don't even know.
Very well could be.
I would assume he's very into country music.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, they never really get into that. I don't think they once in the entire
Yeah.
series say, "Oh, I love this song," or anything.
see-
There's no allusion to what kind of music he likes.
I
Yeah.
want to see Eric Taylor's Spotify list. I think that would be a fun one.
Yeah.
He needs to put that out.
It's probably like early '90s R&B. It's like Silk and Shy and SWV,
That probably that tracks.
Jodeci.
And then another one of our really fun first round matchups, we have Elizabeth and Philip versus Carrie and Mr. Big. Again, I know another very popular matchup here in your household. Do you guys want to expand a little more on that? Familiarize those who don't know.
I mean, they're both a little toxic. Like both relationships.
For those who aren't familiar, what shows are we talking about here?
Yeah, so Elizabeth and Philip are The Americans, which if you haven't watched The Americans yet, I am so jealous that you get to watch The Americans for the first time.
I've heard good things.
Because it's amazing. Yeah. It's a great spy thriller in the 80s, and I'll let you take it away, sweetheart.
Well, and given how many people have probably seen it, it's going to get slaughtered. But but they probably have the most interesting relationship on the bracket.
Okay.
Because they're both sleeper agents. Like, they didn't know each other until they're assigned to be married. And they are, and so, yeah, they take on new American identities.
They have kids together, though, and they got fake married.
Yeah.
And really just their need to acquire stealth is their bonding.
Yeah, so
You'd have
they're
to watch the show.
Ryan,
they're
are you
working
familiar-
together to overthrow the U.S. government.
You know this show, Ryan?
Yeah, I have not finished it, but I watched the first 2 seasons. So I'm familiar enough with them as a couple and their origin story. And so I do know that, it is kind of an interesting situation where they, are basically like an arranged couple. And they just happen to kind of fall in love, luckily, under the circumstances, sort of.
Although, I mean, I definitely feel like Elizabeth might kill Philip at any time. You're also wondering if she's going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and they're both dealing with their shared PTSD from their various training and everything else. So they're working through kind of similar things.
Yeah.
She could kill me at any time.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a heavy sleeper.
Side of
she
a healthy
could get it done
relationship.
easily.
Let's talk about a sleeper
Yeah,
agent.
keep an eye when she's cooking.
We'll have to add that to our list. That sounds good. And should I be excited if I'm watching Sex in the City for the first time?
I mean, it didn't age well. You'd be like, I don't understand why people really liked this show 25 years ago.
See, I think
So,
the Elizabeth and Philip have a chance. I think there's a lot of Sex in the City hate out there.
yeah. So, that definitely could. Sex and the City was like hugely popular and then not at all. But Carrie and Mr. Big is still like, I don't know about couple goals necessarily, but definitely a big talked about couple, especially in the like early 2000s.
Sex in this.
Well, I know Samantha's not going to be voting for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Kim Cattrall will vote against him.
Sex in the City is one of those like major time capsule shows of the aughts, like the first half of the aughts. I feel like people in like 50 years will be like, oh, remember the 2000s? And it'll say like, yeah, there was Sex in the City, Entourage. Like they'll show those to show what it was like in those years,
Yeah.
Will that be a Goat Boy show on MTV?
Yeah.
Hey, remember the 2000s?
Yeah, it will.
Yep.
Our friends at VH1 will definitely have that.
I thought they forgot about us.
No.
But like I mentioned earlier, I mean, we definitely shouldn't skip over it. We do have 16 couples fighting today, battle to the death, and only half of them move on. So feel free, anybody. I'm gonna mention a little bit about each of these as I list them off. But we've got Red and Kitty from that '70s show. I think they're going to be a really popular one with the nostalgia crowd that we clearly have here. I kind of consider my parents a little bit like Red and Kitty, so
Red made it to the finals of our TV
That's right.
Dads.
yeah. So good. Another one of our TV dads. We have Lewis and Jessica from Fresh Off the Boat. Very, very funny show, but one of our newer shows. Then we have Monica and Chandler from Friends. Definitely the less toxic relationship from that show.
Yes.
So it should be interesting. I think they have a chance of moving on. Leonard and Penny from The Big Bang Theory. One of those ones where it just it was such an important thing in culture for probably our most recent like really big sitcom that was just such a cornerstone for a network, and it was hard to not include them. So give them a chance.
Oh, for sure.
This is one you actually helped me out with a few days ago. Jason and Janet from The Good Place.
Oh.
Bortles.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but as you said, that one of them isn't necessarily human, correct? Or
Correct. It's weird.
Yeah.
that's a show I'm excited to. Kaylee wants to
I
rewatch.
can't
and
wait
I've
to
never seen.
rewatch it with him because I loved that whole
Yeah.
show. I loved it.
Good
It's
people.
so good.
Same.
Love a little Ted Danson. He's finally settled down in his older years. Isn't so crazy anymore.
Remember when he did Blackface?
He's not running a bar anymore, and now he's just running hell, like a portion of hell. But
And he's a mayor. And
Sorry, spoiler
alert.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ryan. What were you saying?
I said, remember when he did Blackface with Whoopi Goldberg?
It's so funny. I actually just got to those Saturday Night Lives in my Saturday Night Live rewatch.
Oh, really?
Commenting on that. Again, very, very strange. Thank you, Ted Danson, for no longer doing blackface.
Doing blackface.
Speaking of
Never go full blackface.
No. It's never a good
Deep
idea.
speaking of problematic couples, we have Tobias and Lindsay from Arrested Development. One of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
They're great.
I
mean, we could talk about it more when we go through it.
we could spend a whole podcast on a whole episode on that
you
couple.
guys should just start a sub Arrested Development podcast.
Yes.
Yeah,
We could definitely
wish-
go deep on Arrested Development.
Yes.
wow, aggressive. Then we have another very popular one from our TV dads, Phil Dunphy and his wife Claire Dunphy from Modern Family. Again, one of those shows that was we probably could have included 5 or 6 couples from that show.
Yeah.
But
Manny and the new foreign exchange student.
that's one of the few episodes I've seen.
Well, there's some really good episodes
Oh,
of
big
Modern
time.
Family. I mean, it was on for forever
Too long.
and wasn't super watchable by the end, but those first couple of seasons have some real gems.
Then we have an early 2000s show that I never got into, but Seth and Summer from the OC.
I love them. I love that show, and I love them.
California. Did you ever watch
Nope.
Ryan, one of your,
The documentary crowds get pretty rough.
Yep.
I think one of your favorites, Chuck and Sarah from Chuck.
Oh, yeah. Love Chuck. That show was awesome.
Yeah,
Good old
Steve
good old-
watched that one
I was a
too.
big fan.
That was, I remember that was like big NBC time when they were doing a lot of crossover episodes, and Heroes was on.
Yeah. That was
Nobody-
kind of like, it was definitely kind of in the post-Alias, like, hour-long action shows. But Chuck was definitely more veering in the comedy.
Yeah,
You know,
and it was
it was
only a
kind of
half
like-
hour, right? No, it was an hour. You're
No,
right.
Chuck was an hour.
No, it was
long.
an hour. Mhm.
Yeah.
But it was
Chuck.
definitely like big budget. It kind of had like Mission Impossible vibes.
Yeah.
But yeah, great show. Super underrated.
Did you watch Chuck?
I don't even know what Chuck is.
Secret Spy. Another Secret Spy show.
Yep.
Spies need love.
I watched Alias.
Yep.
This
Alias is a show about a spy.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then we also, and then one of my personal, again, favorites, because I love the toxic relationships. Jeff and Susie from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Very, very hilarious couple. And comedy is going
It's very loud.
to, yeah.
very loud.
But, you know, as toxic as they are, and as much as they kind of stab each other in the back, when it really comes down to it, they really do love each other. So,
Is that Cheryl Hines?
No.
Her character on that?
That's,
No, okay.
Susie Essman.
That's all I know.
Susie Essman, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very, very, like Steve said, very loud
She's very funny.
Yeah.
and loud.
She swears a
Hey,
lot.
there's nothing wrong with loud wives.
No. And she always calls him, you fat fuck.
Yeah, we've got that's half of them. Do we need to take a quick?
Just to kind of go over a couple of them here.
Yeah.
Hold on one sec here.
This makes for great podcast.
Just to go over a couple of them here. A couple thoughts I have. Jason and Janet, I love. It goes back to what you were saying though, Jake, as far as like, what do you judge this on? Do you judge it on just like, are they a funny couple? Are they, is it a romantic thing? Like, whatever. If it's just like, who do you enjoy watching the most? They're great, and their relationship is so hilarious. So that's definitely one I enjoy. I voted for them today in my who do you want to see move on. I also have similar feelings towards Lindsay and Tobias, but I think with that one, it's tougher. I did not vote for them because they are not really in love or a couple, I don't think. They're more just like buddies.
It was definitely up and down.
They're an arranged buddy system. But they are, I mean, they're two of my favorite characters on Arrested Development. And so I enjoy that.
Yeah, I would say if we're looking at who of the ones we just listed, who's the most in love, I think it probably comes down to, you know, the couples that have kids or are close. That, you know, you got Red and Kitty, Phil and Claire are probably your most in loves.
Yeah. But Jason and Janet are so much fun because they're like literally opposites attract. Where
Yeah.
like Janet is a computer and knows everything, and Jason's a Florida man,
Yeah, totally.
an absolute idiot, and it's wonderful.
So we got a few more to get to in this massive, 16 couple play in here. But suddenly, Ryan, there's another person next to you. Big surprise
Yes.
for us.
I'd like to introduce my fabulous wife, Rebecca,
Hello.
to the podcast. She's going to share some of her thoughts here on the upcoming entries as well.
Nice.
And just bless us with her presence in general on this very special episode.
Thank you so much for putting up with us, Rebecca. So nice to see you. It's like our own little Zoom powwow we got going here. But feel free, take whatever whatever comments you would like. But I know a few that you guys are really looking forward to. We have Keith and David from 6 Feet Under are up today. I'm not familiar with that show.
That's good.
So this is 6 Feet Under. I'd say, if pressed, might be my favorite show of all time. Wow. As far as like, especially just considering like prestige hour-long drama type shows, you know, as opposed to like, you know, half-hour comedies. That's tougher to say, like, put it up against like Parks and Rec and 30 Rock and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But as far as the hour-long dramas, 6 Feet Under is hard to beat for me.
I never got bored with it till the very end. I was just hooked.
And that was the first show that we like binge watched, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was before, it was like on DVDs.
Yeah.
And we sat down and just watched like 8 serious, heavy episodes, but still like, I don't care. Like, spend a whole day doing that.
Yeah. And talk about sticking the landing. Like, one of
yeah.
the best finales ever.
I've often heard that.
Oh my god,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
Highly recommend
it's
if you
pretty
haven't seen
famous
it. But
for that.
Keith and David, kind of the heart of the show, I think, in a lot of ways. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was so weird. I watched it after I watched Dexter. So that was very strange for me at first.
Yeah.
I bet.
And then like Pam's in it. I'm really bad with actor names. I only know
Yeah.
who they play. And I was just like, what? And Dwight's in it? Like,
Yeah.
There,
We'll have to watch it.
yeah.
Another show I missed out on from the early 2000s, Veronica and Logan from Veronica Mars.
Yeah, this is another super toxic relationship, especially in season 1. And then like a little bit less so as it ends, especially with the movie and the like Hulu season. But they definitely have a lot of chemistry together, even when they hate each other.
Yeah, it's definitely the classic, like, he likes you, that's why he's making fun of you. Very toxic, bad when they're in high school.
Really bad.
Really bad. But you totally root for them because they have good chemistry.
It's kind of like that classic TV couple, like, destiny thing, you know, like, they're destined to be together, you know. Even though, you know, especially as, I think watching it later on, you know, I watched it for the first time like a couple years ago, and I remember being like, oh man, this guy's such a douche, like I hate him so much, like I really don't want them to be together. But you know, that's definitely what they were going for, is like the kind of, this is the linchpin of the show, is you being like, will they, won't they on these two.
For sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, Jenny, they definitely, as time went by and as they grew up, he became a lot less insufferable.
Yes.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he has a much more of an arc than Veronica ever does on the show. So they're great. I mean, who's she gonna end up with? Fucking Piz? No.
Wow. Getting interesting with the Veronica Mars commentary.
I could do a whole podcast on Veronica Mars and my opinions.
So many offshoots coming in the future. look for those future podcasts. So I feel like, at least for me, and I apologize, I'm very top heavy in this tournament, and a lot of these newer shows I missed out on. So another new one, and I think you've watched though, Fleabag and Hot Priest. Are those the names that we're going with?
Yeah, those are
Fleabag
the
and Hot
names of the
Priest?
characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
All
can
right,
IMDb it.
We have Fleabag and Hot Priest. I have a feeling both of you guys, or all four of you, at least have something to say here. Ryan and Becky.
Who knew that you could make a priest look so hot?
right?
Like, I don't know. There's something just very, like, because, I don't know, their relationship is so unconventional. Also, she's just kind of this, like, not really necessarily a good person trying to find her own kind of, like, redemption. And he's sort of, I don't know, it seems like they're on a journey together. It's kind of seems to work. So.
I got you.
Yeah,
Jen,
they're kind
Steve?
of opposite forces, I guess.
Yeah.
He's really trying super hard to be good, even though in his past he maybe wasn't, and she's kind of that. I wouldn't say necessarily bad force, pulling him back to the dark side, but kinda.
Kind
But
of like
yeah, because it
Paula
almost seems like they're
Abdul
trying to
and
pull each
DJ
other in
Skepta.
opposite directions, but it works some way.
Yeah.
Right on, right on. I have a lot of
Yeah,
catchy...
I'll rewatch that show with you too. It was so good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I haven't gotten
I
to season
blew
2
through
yet,
it.
so I actually haven't seen this couple
That's
on
a
it
Oh,
yet.
nice!
Oh.
It's great.
It's great.
Right up
I
your
like
alley.
season.
Yeah.
I like
You're
season
gonna
2.
laugh,
I
you're
think
gonna
better than
cry.
season 1.
Me too.
Yep,
Same.
for sure.
I think somebody, maybe we might be able to go 6 for 6 and say all of us one of our favorite toxic couples, Ryan and Kelly from The Office. Another
Yes.
show we could have grabbed 6, 7 couples from that show. Kevin and any of his girlfriends I would have voted for hard. But Ryan and Kelly, super, super toxic. Jen, Steve, what do you think?
Oh yeah, like they're probably my favorite ones, and just like how they're very much interpreting their relationship in opposite ways, like at all times.
They're so
And I
both
like
self-centered.
both of them. They're just such terrible people, and we find out more and more and more. But it's like you would want to be like, oh well, Kelly's always projecting this relationship, and he's not. And that's kind of how it is first season. But towards the end of the show, it's not. Like he's just as codependent in this relationship as she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the season finale is just freaking hilarious. When they run off, leave the baby with the
And that they're such good friends in real life too, I think is fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Mindy Kaling, one of our absolute favorites. So.
One thing I will mention too, and I'm kind of speaking for Rebecca here a little bit. She, Mindy Kaling, also, I know that she got a shout out from one of our fans, but after The Office, the Mindy Project,
the Mindy Project. Mhm.
also an awesome, super underrated show, but a really great couple at the center of it, with her and Dan.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yes. But they're also kind of toxic.
Definitely.
Also,
also
yeah.
toxic, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like for the second time we do this part 2 of this
Exactly.
tournament.
Yes.
Part 2,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
second 40,
Yeah.
The ones that did the NIT.
the NIT.
A few more we have here. Again, this is I like. This wasn't on purpose, but I like how these ones fighting it out are kind of the scrappy couples as it is. We have Kevin and Veronica from Shameless. I fell off of that show. I feel like that's maybe, and I know it's its last season this year, but I feel like it maybe ran a little too long. But I did always love those two together. They were fun ones. Ryan, Becky, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I same. I actually think I've watched all of it, but kind of like limited interest. Like it's a lot of show, but they're always kind
You
of a
gotta finish
constant of like a good, genuine. Honestly, seems like a healthy. They have good communication. Like for
They're
that
raising
show being all about
triplets.
chaos.
Yep.
They're pretty stable. So yeah.
And
Yeah,
I've
like
never-
you get outside of the Gallaghers, and they're kind of like really like holding this show.
They are. Yep.
I've never seen one episode of Shameless.
Oh, it's great.
It is.
I've
good.
heard.
Yeah.
I know, like there'll be a lot of times like I'll get home from work, and it will be on TV. Rebecca will be watching it, but so I've seen bits and pieces and stuff, but I've just never dove in.
Same.
One day.
Yeah.
Well, you got to for William H. Macy at the very least, especially the first couple seasons. But
Next pandemic.
Yep.
got to make plans for that second pandemic.
Yep.
Say these.
Yeah, the only thing I've seen of that was him trying to convince somebody to pour vodka into an unsavory place.
Oh. Yeah.
That was his son.
Better yet, yeah. That's really all I know about it.
Whatever gets it done. Continuing on our kind of crazy, non-conventional couples, we got Rob and Sharon from Catastrophe. I was really happy to find out that more people knew about these two. A show that we still have one season to go on, so
We do too.
We'll limit that. But yeah, Jen, Steve, what do you guys think here?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those shows where it's so funny, and they still, like, I guess for them, make a good couple, you know, because they stay together, and they're there where they really need each other, but also, like, the way they fight is, like, holy cow, like, they are so mean to each other.
Which is the most fun part, really.
Yeah.
Too bad you guys haven't seen the ending, because I think that the finale has definitely, like, sums up their whole relationship, but I won't spoil it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I haven't made it to the end.
yeah.
I didn't mean that in a mean way.
It's okay.
I don't want to
But they're the
spoil
type
Awesome
of people
as
who
Rob
wouldn't
and
work
Sharon.
without each other, you know, like
Yeah.
they're the couple that they found like their right person, you know, like if they're going to be in a relationship with anyone, it's
Yep.
it's only somebody like that.
So that's the end of our list of people fighting for those last 8 spots to become our playing games. But a couple more matchups specific we'll talk about. We've got, I think for a lot of us here, we're on one of two sides in this matchup. You either know everything about it or you know nothing about it. We've got Claire and Jamie from Outlander versus Daphne and Hastings from Bridgerton. One of our probably our youngest entry in terms of how recent it is, but definitely deserves.
Yeah, I think it's our newest
very,
one. Yep.
Again, I have not seen a full episode of either of these shows.
It's not for you.
I didn't think it was, but I know.
Although
I know this
Steve
is a very
has seen most of
steamy
Outlander.
matchup.
It is a very steamy matchup.
Jamie.
Yeah. I Sassenach.
It was definitely on in the background for a lot of things, but yeah. Jen, do you? I know this is probably going to be a tough one for you. Are you leaning one way or another?
You know, I'm not quite yet. So I like both. Steve and I have been watching Outlander together. So
Steve.
he has an opinion on that. And he's seen like kind of episode 6 of Bridgerton, which is like the steamiest of all the episodes. I was like, Steve, you've got to watch this. You have to see what they have on Netflix. You're not going to believe this.
Yeah, I feel like they just need to start a category on Netflix. It's lady porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
Didn't they say that more people watched or streamed Bridgerton than anything they've ever put on Netflix?
Yeah, it's their
Yeah.
top like streaming show.
Yeah.
And it's just been around since like it started in January,
Yeah.
right? Bridgerton
Yeah.
did, and
Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
it's like,
Christmas.
yeah, Christmas. Mm-hmm.
It was a Christmas present for you.
Yep.
Was and middle-aged ladies everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like Netflix might take a hint from that and maybe expand that sort of content.
Yeah.
Going
Bodice
forward.
rippers. Yeah.
They're just commissioning every Daniel Steele novel.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Oh boy!
But I do think like for like functional couples that support each other and all that, Jamie and Claire like are actually a very good couple.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Jamie and Claire actually have really good like communication, and that's the opposite of Daphne and the Duke.
Yes.
Have like
Yes.
awful. That's all of their issues are just like they're just not talking to each other.
At all.
So-
They're just banging. Yep.
They're just
Well, and-
having sex.
All through the fancy manner.
Yes. On the
And
stairs.
like the
On the stairs, yeah. They're not using their mouths in ways that help communicate.
No, not at all.
well, in a way,
It's getting hot in here.
but yeah, Jamie and Claire also have some shared PTSD,
That's
Oh, yeah.
true. Some shared trauma.
like like the Americans.
Yep.
So yeah, that's
travel.
definitely brought them closer together.
Yes.
I want, you know what, Rebecca, Steve, Kaylee, you guys could start an offshoot podcast about Outlander. The equipment's already here for you.
I'm sure there's a lot of Outlander podcasts out there, right? Probably.
Probably.
And probably some fan fiction.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of
Oh, yeah.
fan fiction.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this would be the first Outlander podcast that was all like partners of current podcasts, pop culture podcasts.
Yes, there you go. That's
It'd
your
be
niche.
a new slant on
Yeah.
It's the only pop tournaments adjacent podcast.
The only pop tournament adjacent Outlander podcast.
Yep.
How about you guys
boy.
talk about Outlander, and then we review your takes on Outlander?
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh man, is this our 34th episode or their first episode?
Yeah, exactly. We're
Lots of
kind of start a
crossover.
conglomerate like Crooked Media. Like we're just gotta have a
Yep.
whole bunch of related ships.
So that we don't want to run everything too long. We've got 3 other couples that are waiting on today's results and then the play-in games to see who they're going to be going against. The first of those, I think, probably the most popular at the moment, David and Patrick from Schitt's Creek. Mm-hmm. Cannot deny how true of a love story that one is.
It's so sweet. It's when the show, we all love the show Schitt's Creek, but when Patrick joined is when the show really started working.
Yeah.
It
So,
really took off, yeah.
So
Yeah.
great.
And that, so Ryan, I actually reached out to Patrick to see if he would play Simply the Best for your for last. Sorry, Joe. Joe was number 2.
I would imagine there's more demand on his end than Joe Esposito.
Hey, Cobra Kai's popular, man. Come
Oh,
on.
big time.
It is, yeah.
No shots fired at Joe Esposito, but
Super fan Joe Esposito. How are you guys? How's the Ryan and Becky household feeling? Do you think David and Patrick could go far in this tournament?
oh yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I don't know how you could root against them. It'd be really tough putting anybody up against them. They're just a genuinely good couple. Yeah.
And
Well, I think the demographics of the voting block tend to skew that direction. So
Yes.
And I think,
think-
we kind of mentioned this earlier, but with Catherine O'Hara winning the tournament of the Hilarious Heroines, that definitely kind of gives us insight into how popular Schitt's Creek is, too, Not like we
Yeah.
needed that to tell us, but, so I think that David and Patrick definitely have, they have this bye, if you will, or going up against one of the plans. They've earned that right, I think.
For a reason, yeah.
Yeah.
and it's a show with lots of great couples. Like it's a show that's all about relationships.
Yep.
And there's a bunch of great couples on that show, but they're kind of they're the couple.
Yep.
Yeah.
And everybody, there's, I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about Tammy and Steve, but it reminds me of Schitt's Creek is kind of the same way, where it's people who it gives you such great examples of couples working through things and in the course of an episode, having something where they're they're faced with a challenge and they work through it by communicating and being honest with one another,
Yeah.
and learning a lesson. And I feel like that's kind of what a great couple on a TV show is all about,
Yeah.
That's kind of
Yeah, that's
the Michael Landon Little House effect.
You
Your
do love
favorite.
Michael Landon.
Oh, well, yeah, so we know how much you love the Little House. Two more couples that we'll talk about, and they're actually on opposite sides of our tournament board, but I think these are probably the 2 most popular that people like to describe themselves as, or people when they're on dating sites or looking for somebody. This is what they always say: I'm looking for my opposite of these 2 couples. But on one side, We've got April and Andy from Parks and Rec, and on the other side of the tournament board, so not up against each other, we have Jim and Pam from The Office. I think maybe over the years, Jim and Pam have lost a little bit of their luster.
Yeah, I think it's like we've kind of reevaluated relationships a little bit.
Ended, right? The last couple seasons of their relationship was bad.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it salvaged itself
Yes.
in the last couple episodes, but yeah, they really sent that through the ringer, and which is again, it's nice because it's a good, accurate portrayal of more of real life. But it's a comedy show. I want the laughs. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've always the April and Andy wedding episode will still make me cry every time. It's
Absolutely.
it's so sweet and awesome. I think I definitely like Parks and Rec more than The Office.
Yeah, I do too.
yeah, me too.
It's funny. I always get the April and Andy wedding episode confused with the April and Andy Halloween party episode. So I'm like, oh yeah, my favorite part of their wedding is when Andy is describing Rambo.
Wait, isn't that
That's
a different
not.
Halloween?
Yeah, that's a
That's a
different
different one.
episode.
That's
That's
a like
how
campaign
fundraising.
rally.
March.
They have people over to watch the debate.
That's right.
Yep, that's
Oh, that's the see. We're all.
and they can't get the
It-
live stream to work,
Yep.
so he's just reenacting movies for him.
Yep.
So apparently I get more than two episodes confused with each
Yep.
other of Parks and Rec.
I'll tell you what. I'm most excited for anybody who gets to watch Parks and Rec for the first time.
Yeah.
Big
Agreed.
If we want to throw back to the earlier in the episode.
Yep. Although, like, that's another show that like takes a little while to get going, and like Andy's character is just really annoying. Like, and it's like, why is this guy on here? He is unnecessary until like they kind of bring him together with April,
Until he
like a
becomes-
little ways into like towards the end of the first season, into the second season,
Yep.
when they start like kind of flirting more and getting together, and then you're like, oh, now he's not terrible. Like, and she's better too. And they're an example, like Jim and Pam, they got them together and then the show was still going on and they didn't know how to make them funny. Like once they were together,
Yep.
it was the will they or won't they tension that kept driving the show. And once they were together, they kind of lost that and they didn't know what to do with them. And then they made them kind of terrible. But
Yeah.
April and Andy are together almost the whole run of the show and they just keep making it fresh
Yeah.
and funny and like keep getting better as a couple, which is really unusual on television shows.
Yeah, he finally got serious once he became an FBI agent.
Macklin.
Yeah.
This. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I love too that they're so different and they work so well. You know, that's like the when they first get together and April's friends are like talking shit about him, about how he likes Dave Matthews Band and stuff, and then she kind of gets mad at them and is like, well, I like him anyway, you know, whatever.
He's just a good guy. Yeah. He's
Yeah,
Yep.
totally. And they both kind of learn to like, you know, get around the differences and whatever, and they just love each other for who they are, and it's
Yeah.
cute.
It definitely is. I
is.
will say my favorite is when they have the list of all the things, Andy's bucket list, and they're crossing
Yes.
all off, and they drive I think to the Grand
Canyon.
Canyon, and he
Yeah.
doesn't know that it's the Grand Canyon or something. But it did remind me, and we could, with just a few minutes left here, we can all mention any two funny options that we did not include. We should have included Tucker and Flipper, the gay penguins from Parks and Rec.
Yep, from Parks and Recreation.
They should have been included. And then I also thought of after the fact, Will Ferrell and Rachel Dratch, the lovers.
Oh, for
Oh, in the hot
That's
tub.
got to be one of the best 21st
Yeah.
century couples.
Oh my god. I feel like we all, like, it's just, that was so cringy because everyone kind of, like, had that, like, college professor and, like, and stuff. Like, we all kind of know those people that you would really not want to be in a hot tub with. It's gotta get too weird.
Jen and Steve, did you guys have any obscure ones that you wanted to mention?
Oh, I suggested Omar and a shotgun.
From The Wire. One I would have really liked, but it's not a show that a ton of people have seen, and it's, I'm Sorry It's the show Andrea Savage has, and I
So
think
good.
the 2 seasons are on Netflix. And on the show, she's married to Tom Everett Scott, and she's a comedy writer, and he's a lawyer, and it's just like kind of super like going for a lot of realism, just like funny people being funny. And they're just a great like comfortable couple, like a couple like all around all of our ages that is actually just like happily married and supports each other. And
And it has Manzukis.
yeah, Jason Mantzoukas is there too.
You never
But
go wrong with him.
you can never go wrong with the Zook. Yeah, it's a great show. If you haven't watched I'm Sorry, it's fantastic. And they're just a great couple. And Tom Everett
is
Scott can
hilarious.
still get it. Holy cow.
Yeah.
And if you
Double
don't,
recto.
if you don't know who Tom Everett Scott is, he's the guy who played the drums in the band The Oneaters.
Shades. Yeah.
What he's most known
But
for.
he that show, I feel like if you like shows like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it has sort of a similar vibe where it's like really sarcastic and kind of savage, no pun intended.
Right.
But it's more like grown up, and it's more like, you know, kind
they're
of
Or
better
it's
about,
like
parenthood.
catastrophe, but they're nice people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
But
like
they're nice to
yeah.
each other.
Yeah. They don't ruin anybody's life. I don't
No,
think.
for each other's.
Yeah.
Cool. Ryan and Becky, was there any we left off? Obscure ones? Weird one?
Nothing's popping into my head right
Nothing's
now.
popping.
Nothing's popping.
You got to keep popping, though. We'll get to that in a
Yeah.
second.
What about Buffy and Angel from
Oh yeah.
No, they were.
That
they,
was,
they just
problematic.
missed, yeah.
Yeah, round 2. Yeah. Well,
We'll see them in New York for the NIT. Yeah, good suggestion.
good one.
What about, speaking of wrapping up our sports tournament, what about Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley from the
Inside the
NBA on
NBA
TNT?
or NBA on TNT. Very good one. But we're talking romantic relationships where
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, we don't know that it's not.
Yeah,
We can hope.
yeah.
we'll
I
get.
stand
You know
them.
what? Next year we'll do our fake our ships. We'll do
Yeah.
Yeah.
our wished upon.
Our fan fiction.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I do want to say as we wrap up a big thank you to you, Kaylee, to you, Steve, and to you, Rebecca. It is the month of love and the month of presidents.
Yep.
President's Day.
And the
next
month
Black History
of
And
love
Black
rodents.
History. No, it's the most
Yeah.
important. You didn't let me get to it.
Sorry.
Wait, what, Jen? All right. For everybody out there in the pop tournaments community, please keep on voting and keep on popping.
Pop,
Pop, pop,
pop.
Stealing everybody's lines.
He is.
Pop.
Bye.
I listen to a lot.
Bye.
He does. Bye, friends.